What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Design Lounge. Happy Friday. It is time for another 20-minute logo design challenge. Today, I'm going to be redesigning the Oxford Dictionaries logo. Oxford rebranded their logo a couple of years ago. I think it was in 2020. And all they did was change it to the Beats logo, but in reverse. So it just doesn't visually represent Oxford at all. It's not what I think of whenever I think of Oxford. So let's get them some help. Before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe below, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Now, let's redesign this logo. All right, so I'm here in Illustrator, and I've got both of these logos pulled up side by side. As you can see, the Oxford Dictionaries logo, basically they took the Beats logo and just flipped it. So I see what they're going for. There's an O and there's a D in there, but everything about this, the colors, the typography, the logo, it just doesn't say Oxford Dictionaries to me at all. It says, it looks like a tech company or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to Adobe Fonts, and let's go explore some fonts that I'd like to try and just kind of play around with for Oxford Dictionaries. Okay, so normally I'm not a huge fan of serif types, but when we're talking about Oxford, we definitely need to have something that's a serif and something that's a lot more that's distinctive, and also that's prestigious, and just a little bit more refined than just your standard sans serif font that everybody has these days. So I'm going to look through some of these right here. So far, none of these are really jumping out and saying, I'm the logo for Oxford. But I do like, this one is interesting, the Mrs. Eves, that one's pretty cool. I'd like something that is a little bit more unique. This Vendetta one is nice. It kind of has, some traces of black letter in there. So I think that I'm gonna activate this, and since I am very good at forgetting the names of fonts, I'm just gonna write it down real quick. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna play around with that one, and then let's see. I might try some kind of an emblem or something. I really like Garamond Premier. That one's nice. Although, with it being a Garamond, it could be a little bit overused, possibly. But you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and activate it, because I at least want to play around with it. I think I'm just gonna try these two, especially with the last few that I've tried. I think I've activated 3 fonts per logo design, and I've only gotten to 2 of them. So I'm just going to do these 2. All right, so now we just sit back and wait for these fonts to activate and let Adobe do its thing. Okay, so they activated pretty quickly, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and basically get started. Between the two, the one that's the most interesting to me is definitely the Vendetta one. So I'm gonna put Garamond Premier to the side for a second, and I'm just gonna concentrate on this. So let's go ahead and set our timer. I've only got 20 minutes, so really, really, it's about 10 minutes per font that we're gonna try here. So just this is it, just spelled out, no kind of kerning or anything like that. But Optical has already done a pretty good amount of the work for us. But what I'd like to do is just kind of go in, and I'd like to mimic like some of the kerning that you see in like typesetting, from like old typesetting, and to where it's not particularly what's the word I'm looking for? Like super modern, like in terms of the kerning. I really want it to be like very classical. So there's this right here, and they've got dictionaries at the bottom in both of them. So we'll do dictionaries, and I might try to do some type of an emblem, or like a stamp or something like that. Whenever I think of Oxford, like I always think that there needs to be some kind of stamp or some kind of brand going on there. Like the thing that comes to mind is like a wax seal, or something like that. So I'm gonna try to do something kind of like that, maybe, or I may just end up doing something with the typography, but we'll just see. So basically, let's just focus on getting the kerning done here. All right, that's looking good. So now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to go ahead and first I'm going to make a copy over here. Now I'm going to create outlines for this. and these are two separate objects. So we want the word Oxford to really to really be front and center here. So I'm gonna make this exactly. So we'll do 8 inches wide, and then we'll do dictionaries also at 8 inches wide, and grab both of these, align them. I just want to get a sense of what it looks like this first. Like one of the things that I like to do is, just maybe just kind of take the same layout that they have or had in the past and just change up the typography just to see, what kind of a starting point we're at here. So I feel like you could easily make some kind of a brand mark out of just the O. And since they're wanting to like combine the two letters together, you could just take the O and the D right here, and you could even put the D inside the O. There's all kinds of things you could do. So you could do something like that. That kind of looks like, what's it called? What's the word? I'm looking like a ring, ringlet. Is that it? Or a ring? Like when they would, or like a ring stamp. Like when they use the wax, and the royalty would like put their signet. That's what I'm looking for. That's the word I'm looking for. Is signet. So you could do something like that. That's interesting. That could easily appear by itself. I think just let me at least try this, because you should always try whatever ideas you come up with. Yeah, definitely works better the other way around, the D on the inside. All right, so I'm going to make this exactly 2 by 2. That's good that it's an exact square there. And take this up to 1. And I think that does work visually. As far as colors go, I'd like to try, let's see. I don't know if I would actually put this as part of the type. If I did, because it's a little bit obvious that it's just a repeat of the O and the D, which is not a big deal. But I think there definitely needs to be some space between those two groups. So what if you did something like this? And this is kind of cheating a little bit. Just kind of throwing in a line there to separate the two. But it is classic and it does work. It's there for a reason. So let's try that. Since Oxford is like I always think of very conservative, very rigid, like old literature. Well, maybe not conservative, but like I think what I mean. Like kind of, a little bit more like literature type of thing going on here. Normally I would round this stroke, but I think I'm just going to keep it at hard edges. So let's bring this up to about here, and then move it over. Maybe, actually, you could even move it over about 1 inch or so. And let's group this together real quick, and then we'll grab these two, make sure that our line panel is up. Click on the line, 1 inch, and just push right there. So it's exactly right in the center between the signet and the typography. So I think it works well in black and white. I just want to try it with a couple of different colors and see what we've got going on. So like I'm thinking like green and something, like something that you would see in terms of like, old like leather bound books with, with that with those gold, like the gold like foil lettering and things like that. So let's try that. Obviously, that gold is going to be more of like a texture, but you can still achieve it with this. So I think like just personally, I think I'm not saying this is the greatest logo I've ever seen or even the greatest logo I've ever done or anything like that, but already it looks better in my opinion than the Beats by Oxford logo they've got going on over here. It just doesn't, like, that does not fit. This fits, and so does this, even with that bright yellow that they've got going on. But whenever I think of like classic literature and like those old you know, those old leather-bound books or whatever, the three colors that come to mind are always these three, and I'll just lay those out right here. So like the green, like that rich like type of hunter green, you could even go darker with that actually. This red right here, and actually that's a little bit too saturated, probably back it to about right there. And then this could pair really well with like silver or something. And then this one here, this the third color I always think of as like a blue, like a nice, not too saturated blue. Actually, let's take it down even further than that. Basically the Harry Potter house colors. So like when I'm looking at this, that's, you know, like this is kind of what I'm seeing. Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and, you know, let's not leave out Hufflepuff. So let's go in here. You didn't know this was going to turn into a Harry Potter video, did you? Yeah, so this right here, like, I think that just this overall concept could definitely be taken forward and refined a little bit more, and refined and refined. And then eventually you would get to, you know, something that's definitely worthy of like the Oxford name. So, so something like that. Let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, so I got a little bit more time to kind of explore and play with this font. I don't want to get too heavy into it because I do want to switch over to Garamond Premiere Pro, which I think you could easily do the exact, you could do the same thing here and just kind of switch out the type. But I'd like to try something different for that. So what if we do something that they've never done and go all caps? So I think that the word Oxford itself, you know, like, you know, you hear it, Oxford, you know, it's very strong. And for some reason, I just think that it might possibly work in an all caps setting. So let's do something like this, where we do the big name, all caps, and I'd like to get these pretty close to each other to kind of signify a unit. You know, like a strong unit of united letters coming together to represent Oxford. And let's see if we can get these to a point. We may have to adjust the baseline, but it may or may not work. Let me just try it. Oops, I gotta actually select the letter first, don't I? Okay. Maybe kind of bring the baseline down and then bring in the kerning. Okay, now let's go back in here and reset the baseline. It needs to be, you know what we need to do is, let me push it out and then select create outlines, ungroup. Now let's grab the D, and now we can move it exactly where we want to. And then we can just kind of go in. I don't know if this is the greatest idea in the world, but it's just something that I want to try. Okay, so we've got a nice good flow there. That's pretty cool, actually. So we're kind of creating like a ligature out of those. And now let's unite them together so we can grab this anchor point and curve this up. I think that looks good. It's like a tiny, tiny bit. No, I don't want to do that. No, don't want to do that either. Let's do this. Kind of bring this down. Maybe bring this up just a smidge. These anchor points and all of these handles and everything are so freaking sensitive. Okay, well, I think that's good right there. Okay, that is looking pretty cool. I like that. What I want to do here, let's try this real quick, is I want to try this D inside of here. For some reason, I'm getting like Lord of the Rings vibes from doing this, but I actually don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm also getting like some Wizard of Oz type of vibes where you have like the Z inside of the O, which is just awesome. That's one of my favorite like designs that I've ever seen. And I don't know, maybe somebody can tell me down in the comments, but I didn't know, I don't know if that was a thing before the movie Return to Oz, which is just awesome. I love that movie. But if anybody knows, let me know before I Google it myself. All right, so Okay, that's interesting, and actually I see this kind of fitting inside of... Let's see if we can make something that kind of represents a book, but I don't want to overdo it. I don't want it to go too far. All right, so let's grab this and make that white. And I wonder if you could kind of go something like this. Right now it's at 3.33. Let's keep it at that, but then like make it 4.33. And you could even... Is this kind of getting into a territory where it's 2 logos in one? Because what you could do is you could also do this. So ungroup this and then just have the O. That's interesting. I do like that. So let's grab both of these and let's push it away maybe 1/4 of an inch. No, that's too far. 1/8 of an inch. That's a little bit better. And I think in terms of scalability, once you scale it down to a smaller size, even with the O and the D, if you get it way down right here, you could still see that represents a book. And you could, I'm sure you could easily do it over here too. So let's get it all the way down. Yeah, that's pretty small. What I would probably do is just add another 0.0625 to this. And then once we do this, then you can scale it down, and it's like you can go pretty small with it and it's super obvious. Okay, so that's better. All right, so let's do the same thing over here. Okay, so let's finish rounding out the typography for Oxford Dictionaries, and let's type dictionaries below. That's very, very nice. I actually really like that a lot. So this is such a great font. It really is. It's been a while since I've really played around with it and like experimented with this font, but it's a really great font. Okay, let's go to optical, and what I'd like to try here is maybe some tracking. You know, and this kind of gives it a little bit more of like an old world type of feel going on. And you know what? I just realized that my headphones are not plugged in. So let me plug this in so I can actually hear the timer when it goes off. There we go. Okay, testing. Good. All right. Okay, so I'd like to try a little bit of tracking, and this kind of takes us back to the old-timey type of typography that we've got going on here. And just looking at this at first glance, I do like the tracking. The spacing between the O and the N, it's a little bit too open, so I'd like to bring it in just a little bit. And I think I'm good with everything else. The A and the R, maybe just a touch more. And then the I and the E, let's push that out. Okay, looking good. All right, so now I'm gonna create outlines here. And this is, let's focus on the height. 1.5 inches, and let's do this. For some reason, I think that it looks better this way, because that Oxford is still nice and strong, even if the word dictionaries is kind of spread out a little bit. But we can always try 2 different iterations here. So let's try not that small. Okay. And even 1/2 inch, even that is nice. You know, this looks like something you would see in like, you know, an old bookshop window or something like that. You know, like the door walking in. All right, let me check on the time real quick. Okay, I got a little under 4 minutes. Okay, so I'd like to see if we can make these kind of work with each other. So I'm gonna try this one first. So let's try the hardest one, and let's just kind of stack this on top of here. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to use my Pathfinder, knock this out so that it's all one shape, one color, and we'll just unite it together. There we go. And if you were to get it down to like 2 inches, right here, and then let's align it. Oops. I double click so many times and don't mean to. All right, so let's go to align real quick. Select this. Definitely too close. I think 1/2 inch might be the best bet. Okay, you could do kind of like a stack order right there. You could also do something like this. I think that even this works well, but it needs to be probably half the size of that top text. So let's see what that looks like. Let's get it all the way over there and then back it off maybe 1/4 inch looks good. Okay, it's a little small. It's definitely a little small for that. So you may actually want to make it the same height, which is 1.5 inches. So let's do this. Push it out 1/4 inch. Oxford Dictionaries. So if you're going to do that, I feel like it's getting a little bit too wide. And I think that the Dictionaries having a line left may make up for that a little bit. But so far, I think that this layout works the best. And let's expand the artboard a little bit so we have a little bit more playground going on here. I actually really like this a lot. So what size is this? This is 2 inches tall. All right, so let's unite this together. Cut that O out first. Yeah, so like I could easily see this, you know, like on the back of the dictionary books. You know, it's kind of like a stamp for the branding. Oh yeah, I already did this. So let's bring this down here. Align this. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. I really like that a lot. And you know, if you if you really think about it, I did not even plan on doing this. And sometimes I wonder if some of the most well-known brands in the world end up as happy accidents. But this line right here and then this definitely does make a D, especially if you do this. Although it is kind of... There's something about... I already did the knockout, didn't I? There's something about that just doesn't quite sit right with me. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it's because it makes that O kind of look like an I or something. But if you did like a soft, real soft curve like that, I think that works. I think that works a little bit better. And it still like kind of signifies a book. I wonder, how much time do I have? Oh, not much time. But you know what? It's my video. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, just a little bit. So I wonder if you took this out right here and just kind of fill this in, unite this together, and then bring this over here. Maybe push it down. No, not down. There we go. You push it down a little bit. Bring it over here. Push it out. And let's see, put a stroke on this. Of course, I would only put it on the outside portion of it. But yeah, just kind of helping to to give that look a little bit more of a book. Let's see. Let me try this. Okay, I'm not exactly a keyboard shortcut warrior here. All right, so let's try this and lay this on top of here, just to get a visual representation. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot, and it helps to further solidify like the idea of a book. So I think maybe bring it down a little bit more, and I think you'd also have to do the same thing here. Bring this down, push it to the back. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so Out of all of these iterations here, so here's our the one that we made for Vendetta, and I think you could easily you could easily swap the type in both of these, and they could really work well for both concepts. But I think that out of all of these, I think this one is my favorite. This one right here. So this right here, like if you were to refine this and get it exactly where it needs to be, I think this is very, very much in line with the personality of Oxford Dictionaries. It's very classical, while still visually representing exactly what it is. So what do you think of all of these? Which one is your favorite, and which one would you refine if you were the designer? Let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching today. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching me redesign that Oxford Dictionaries logo. That one was fun. I really like that very last one that I came up with, especially with the little drop shadow to help signify the book. So it was really fun. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.